Hey everybody. So this is something. It's more filler content, I guess, to build up the videos for the channel. I thought this would be pretty cool, though. Last weekend I went to one of my favorite local shops. It's a shop here in town in Glendale called Legacy Comics and Manga. It's been around since 1990, I believe. If you're in the area and you are a big comic nerd or a Magic the Gathering fan, or if you're a big anime fan, well, not anime, manga, then it's definitely a shop you want to check out. They are stacked to the rafters with stuff. They're so full, in fact, with material that they sell these blind boxes here. And I picked one up last weekend, which I was really blown away by. It's been a while since I bought one. A couple of years ago, I kind of went on a buying spree with them. And over the course of maybe 2 years, I think I bought about 10 or 15 of them total. The thing is, I mean, it's a pretty good deal. You're basically getting 100 comics for a quarter a piece. You have no idea what you're getting, but almost always there's at least a few things in the box that you can flip on eBay that'll pretty much cover the entire cost of the box. And so I've been using it that way to fill in a bunch of things that I'm kind of interested in, that I've wanted to collect. Series that I'm looking to fill out, just random things that don't feel like spending a lot of money on, so pulling them out of quarter bins or out of random boxes like this is always a really fun way to do it. So I got some pretty amazing stuff out of the last box, though. I'll go through that box in a different video. Just to give you an example, though, I got this issue of Astonishing Tales. It's probably in very good condition. It's not super great. But this is issue number 26 of Astonishing Tales, which was from 1974. And this is actually the second appearance of Deathlock, who hardcore Marvel nerds know who this character is. I'm not sure how many other people know. But because I opened that one off camera, I figure going through it will be fun, but you never know if I loaded the box or not. So this way we can have an adventure together. I'll do it live on camera, and you'll see exactly what I get out of this box, and it'll give you an idea maybe if you're in town and in Glendale if you want to stop by Legacy and pick one of these up. Although I would recommend, if you're driving by Glendale and you're a comic nerd, you stop by that shop no matter what, because it's a really great store. So without further ado, though, let's work on opening this thing up. Start going through it. One thing I'll say about these boxes is they almost always have more than 100 comics in them. I've picked up ones once or twice that had exactly 100. The one I got last weekend had 101. This one, we'll see. I'm excited about it, though. And so on the top, we have two interesting things. This was the Justice League of America that was part of New 52. It was drawn by David Finch, written by Jeff Johns. I think the series only lasted a year. It was pretty cool, though. One of the things they did was they had custom flags for all 50 states, and I'm not sure what this is. Yeah, I don't know what state flag that is, but it's one of the 50. I feel dumb now. Oh, an issue of Eagle Comics Judge Dredd. So Eagle was, I think it was Fleetway at the time, was publishing 2000 AD, and Eagle was their attempt to enter the U.S. market with reprints of 2000 AD material, including their flagship, Judge Dredd. Oh, looks like there's a couple issues of that in here. So, see, this is one of those reasons that I really like these blind boxes, because I don't have most of these issues of Dredd, and this is a really nice little stack of them. Let's see. Oh, there. Okay, so that's the end of the Dredd run here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 issues total. The first one is really low numbered. It's number 2. The rest of them are in the 20s and 30s. But it's a nice little run of Judge Dredd right there. So let's see what the equivalent is on the other side. Okay, the first issue of The Kitchen. This is a Vertigo book from, I want to say 2013 or 2014. I've never actually read it, so I don't know much about it. This was the last issue of, I think, the Hickman run of Avengers. Yeah, this was from the Hickman run. This was what led right into Infinity. I get the feeling that Legacy way over-ordered this issue, and especially this variant, because I've pulled about 5 or 6 copies of this out of these boxes from them over the years. First issue of, I want to say, the second or third Hawk and Dove miniseries. Or no, this was the ongoing, actually. Right after the miniseries before this, Liefeld drew. And it was written by Barbara and Carl Kiesel, who are still writing and I think drawing this one. Uncanny Avengers, this was part of the 2012 Marvel Now relaunch. Top Cow's version of Battle of the Planets. Event Leviathan. I don't know about this. I don't know that much about stuff that DC's been up to in the past couple of years. Written by Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah, it looks like this came out in the last year, so it's kind of interesting to find it for a quarter in this blind box. Random issues of Black Hammer Justice League crossover. I think this was another 2019 thing. Oh, that's, in fact, the 2 of these are Black Hammer Justice League. An issue of Matt Kent's Ether from Dark Horse. And Supergirl issue 30. I think this is the most recent Supergirl run. So again, some really very modern books in here. Let's see what we've got here. An issue of Bishop's early 2000 book, or maybe late 90s. Actually 2000 exactly. Oh, after Marvel purchased Malibu, they kind of tried to tie the Malibu universe into, or the Ultraverse, I should say, into the Marvel universe, and this is one of those crossover books. So they make it look kind of like it's a crossover, but like between companies, but really at this point Marvel owned Malibu. An issue of the 1990s Wolverine, drawn, at least the cover, by Eric Larson. That's pretty cool. Another issue of Bishop, more Bishop. Oh, another Bishop series. This one looks like early to mid-90s. An issue of The Incredible Hulk. I think this is early 2000s. Uncanny Avengers. This was the series that came after the Hickman run. This was by Jim Zub and crew. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, The Avengers. Oh! And this is fun. Some issues 5 and 6, some early issues of Sleepwalker, which was a pretty popular hero in the 1990s from Marvel. They came out with a bunch of kind of younger heroes designed to appeal to kids. And Sleepwalker was, I think, a teenager who turned into this kind of ghostly character. He's a little bit like Morpheus from the Sandman comics, but a very Marvel superhero take. I was actually a really big fan of this book because especially when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of Brett Blevins' artwork, which, let me find a good page here. Well, I mean, in general, you can just see he's got a really nice style. His stuff's very clean lines, easy to read, very expressive faces. And being a 1990s Marvel book with a new character, of course, in the first couple of issues, he's crossing over with Spider-Man. If it wasn't Spider-Man, it was probably Wolverine from the X-Men, or maybe Punisher. Speaking of which, here's Punisher in an issue of Deathlock from the same time. A couple more issues of Deathlock in here. Oh, looks like a little run of Deathlock in here. Quite a run of Deathlock. And this was an issue of the original Deathlock 4-issue miniseries. So he premiered, as I showed you that I got from the last box, in this issue, or the issue previous of Astonishing Tales. It was a 3-part story, so this is the middle of the story. And then I think he showed up in a couple of other books. I believe he made an appearance in Captain America for a 2 or 3-part story. And then the next appearance was this Prestige format, which was important stuff in the 1980s at Marvel, Prestige format series. So we have issues of Deathstroke the Terminator from, again, the mid-90s from DC. I mean, it's written by Marv Wolfman, so it's probably pretty good stuff. Oh, looks like there's a whole vein of that here. Let's see. Yep, more Deathstroke. More Deathstroke. Quite a lot of Deathstroke here. Looks like early issues and a decent run. Oh, and then here is a reprint series from Blackthorn. They were an independent direct market publisher in the 80s. And they did this series, I think was one of their longest running series. And this I'll definitely look forward to reading, which was Dick Tracy reprints, which was a really pretty amazing comic strip by Chester Gould. I want to say in the 1930s. And it was a very serious detective strip. There was a movie made in the late 80s, early 90s that was pretty cool. But this, losing my comics here, this is reprints from the 1980s, and they're very fun stuff. Okay, we hit a vein of some interesting stuff here. First up, New Defenders. This book, it's kind of forgotten about nowadays, but the Defenders series was huge among hardcore Marvel nerds in the 70s, 80s, and even into the early 90s. And as you can see, the two of the core members are Valkyrie and Beast. It had a kind of rotating cast. I forget the exact story of it. Like, to be honest with you, it's one that I've always read selected issues here and there, and the creative teams on it are usually pretty good, so it was usually pretty enjoyable stuff. But I'll confess it's not a series I know a ton about, because it's not enough of a mutant book for me to care as far as Marvel stuff goes. Next up, some early issues of the Doctor Strange series from the 90s, which this is pretty fun stuff, I have to say. I think everybody knows Doctor Strange from the movies now. And what is this? Looks like one of the really cool books that, let me see if I can get it out of here cleanly. Yeah, so this is issue 3 of Doctor Strange's 1974 series. So that's the kind of thing that I was hoping to find in this box. I'm a little surprised. Like, this is a pretty cool thing to find, and it may find its way onto eBay soon. So let's get through this side a little bit more. Transformers and Ghostbusters. I'm imagining this is a recent series from IDW. I'm not too familiar with it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends. A couple issues of that. Pretty cool. Hellboy and the BPRD issue number 2. BPRD number 12. I loved the original Hellboy stuff, but to be honest with you, by the time the movies came out, I kind of burned out on the character overall. I mean, he's a good character, but I really like the stories by Mike Mignola himself. When he gets other people involved, or when it's other people working on the character, it's just a lot less interesting to me. I know that he's turned it into quite an empire, though, over the decades. Sonata, issue number 2. I do not know anything about this book. Maybe it'll be good stuff. Batman and the Outsiders. I also know nothing about this book, except it's written by Brian Hill, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. He's done a few books, especially the ones that are kind of focused on technology, that I find to be very, very interesting. Batman and the Outsiders number 4. An issue of Firefly. I can't say I care too much about that. An issue of Deadpool. And an issue of Booster Gold. Interestingly enough, the same number issue of Deadpool and Booster Gold. I doubt there's any significance to that, but who knows. An issue of Gogor. Not familiar with this one at all. Joe Golem, Occult Detective. Also not familiar. It seems like it might be a spin-off of Hellboy, given the people involved. The Superior Spider-Man, issue number 9. That's kind of a random thing, but I think I actually need that issue. Dr. Mirage, number 4. White Fox #1. I was wondering about this character. I didn't pick up the book at the time. I don't think I was in the shop the week it came out, so now I can read it and find out if it's cool or not. Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider #1. Amazing Spider-Man #14. Future Foundation #1. This is a bunch of really recent stuff, actually. Invisible Woman #1. Interesting. Space Bandits #2. Spider-Gwen #19. The Walking Dead 163. Is this the last issue? It's not the last issue, is it? And DC Year of the Villain #1. Yeah, it's not the last issue. I guess I don't know too much about The Walking Dead. Okay, we're getting close to the bottom here. So, on this side, Marvel Legacy #1. This is another one that they got a million copies of. Yeah, it's basically just a preview book that was overpriced. Mercenary Sea, Iceman #3, The Invaders. I think this is the new series. #7, Justice League Odyssey #10. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #9. Dr. Aphra. Oh, 2 issues of Spider-Man City at War. This is the one based on the video game series. I'm kind of curious about that. An issue of Marvel Rising. Issue of Valiant Fallen World. This is a fun little miniseries. Bone Parish, issue 12. I've heard good things about this book, but 12 seems like the wrong one to get into. Coda, issue 11. And issue 96 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This series is spectacular. If you're at all a Turtles fan, then you owe it to yourself to read that. And here's the last little bit of the box. Another issues of Doctor Strange. These are more from the modern series. This looks like a 70s or 80s one. Yep, 1978. This one's from the year that I was born. So that's from the same early run. I guess those are the two. That seems to be what they're doing, I guess, is they're putting 2 kind of early issues of Marvel Comics, kind of mid-priced ones in there. So that's pretty cool, actually, to get those 2 issues of Doctor Strange. Some more Bishop stuff. Looks like they gave me most of that Bishop series. There's quite a run of Bishop here. So I do like the character, and I haven't read these series, so it looks like this is going to be my big opportunity. And that's it for the box. I hope you all enjoyed looking through this with me. I will show you the other box that I got. Now that you've seen from those 2 Doctor Strange issues that, in fact, they do have some pretty interesting older stuff in here, I'm really looking forward to showing you what else I get in the other box, and maybe some of this stuff will serve as springboards for other videos that we can kind of talk about some of these creators in these books. And as I read through the ones I haven't read before, if I find anything super interesting, I'll be sure and share it with you all. So please comment, like, and subscribe. I would love to hear what you think of these videos, if you find them at all interesting, or if, yeah, what kind of content you'd like to see. So thank you very much for your time, and I will talk to you soon.